So is a cordless chainsaw the right thing to have on a Smallholding or Homestead? I think so. Let's go through it. Okay, so a few months ago I put together a video doing a little review of my Makita 36 volt, that's two 18 volt batteries, chainsaw, and I didn't post it on YouTube because the week after I went and used a friend's still chainsaw that was 36 volt as well, and it kind of changed my opinion a little bit of this saw. Not massively, but enough to make me think I'll redo the video. So that's what I'm doing now. So we'll go through some of the positives of having a battery saw on a Smallholding or a Homestead. It's so much lighter than a petrol saw. It really, really is. The noise, there's no noise. I mean, it's not loud. It's not a loud saw at all. It's not a nice noise, but it's not loud. It's not like having a two-stroke engine running and chugging out fumes. There's no fumes. I can use this on a Sunday and know I'm not annoying my neighbours, which is really nice as well. So when you're doing something like hedge laying or something like that, you haven't got to have a chainsaw kind of chugging away or save up all your chainsaw bits. You can literally have it there, pick it up as you need it, do one or two cuts and put it down, not having to be pulling a cord all the time, which makes it so much, you're so much more likely to use it. The weight as well is great. You can use it overhead. I ended up logging some stuff up, when it was still upright rather than dropping it on the floor and doing it like you would a big petrol saw and dropping it through. Don't get me wrong, using a big petrol saw for logging up. If I was going to log up a load of big rounds of timber, the petrol saw's coming out. This hasn't quite got the guts to do that. I bought the Makita one because I'm on this battery platform anyway. I've got about 10, 12 of these 18 volt batteries. I did have to upgrade a little bit. I bought some 6 amp ones because this does eat batteries. 4 amp ones, it's just a waste of time, hardly any time at all. 5 amp and 6 amp hour batteries are the way to go. Give you a lot of power over a long period of time. And if you're cutting up little bits, you'll last kind of half an hour doing different bits of cutting. It's got, it's really quite easy to adjust the chain and things like that. You can, you can get to it really easily. So it's got quite a thin chain and bar on it, and that means it cuts with less power needed. The only downside with that is it's quite easy to damage the chain, and I have damaged a few already. They kind of get pinched up and you can't straighten them out. But they're dead cheap. The chain on here I think is about £6, so it's not a huge amount of money. These are Oregon chains. Okay, it's on the Makita bar, but I can soon change that out as well. It's also got a nice little battery gauge there, so it tells you how much battery you've got left. I'm not saying it's hugely accurate, is the downside to it. When you're using it and you kind of, you've used your saw quite a bit, you press the button, it'll go show 1 bar on the battery, leave it 5 minutes, come back and it'll be 2 bars. So I'm not sure, but it does also kind of tail off with power a little bit as the batteries get flatter, which I didn't find with the still saw. This saw you can stall it really easily by just pushing it a bit too hard, and you soon learn that you've got to kind of almost feather it into your cuts. Whereas the still saw, you could treat it like a petrol saw and it just went through like butter. So I think that's a bit of a downside. The other major downside with this, and it really, really does annoy me, is you've got this button. So you press that button, and then you have to press the trigger guard down, chain break off, and then it'll work. But the trouble is, that stays on then for 10, 15 seconds. You'll pick it up, and you'll press it again, thinking you've got to press it, and it'll turn it off. So you almost got to look at your saw and look at the handle and see if you're gonna press the button or not. And you end up turning it off, turning it on, and it's really quite annoying. So especially when you're in gloves or something like that, and they're kind of covering that bit, so you kind of pick it up and you go to start it, and you think, well, just press the button. I'm pressing it again. So that's genuinely quite annoying. But yeah, I think having a saw like this on the Smallholding for little jobs, you can just take it out and do small jobs as long as you're wearing your safety gear. I think that's a major downside, is that you think it's so easy to pick it up, but you wouldn't put your chainsaw trousers on. This will still take your leg off in the same way. So, making sure that you still wear safety gear is really, really essential. So I think that's a really major downside to it. You're almost like tricked into thinking it's safer than a petrol saw because it doesn't make this big, loud, dangerous noise, when it is just as dangerous as a petrol saw. So, but it's awesome. There are awesome things. If I had to pick between this one and the still one that I used, 100% the still one wins, hands down. Because I've got the batteries for this one, this is what works for me. And I'm not using it in a professional capacity like he was. I just need it for occasional jobs around the Smallholding and cutting up some firewood, taking down like fallen branches and fencing and things like that, and which this, you know, is perfect for. If I was doing stuff all the time, then I might consider upgrading to a Stihl one of the same voltage, you know. But for me, this is kind of perfect. Works really well, and heartily recommend it. But compared to the Stihl, yeah. So yeah, it's a great tool if used safely. Alright, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you've got a battery chainsaw and what you think of it, how long you've had it for and how much you use it, and which you think is the best on the market. I see there's like some DeWalt FlexiVolt ones, you know, bigger. We're getting bigger batteries. The Stihl ones have ones that are kind of like on a battery pack backpack. It's really interesting to see what's out there and where it's going, really. I think there's some really exciting things. You know, battery powered is definitely the way forward. When I started in carpentry and doing this kind of stuff, there was hardly any battery tools. You had a drill, that was it. And now everything. I've got a nibbler. You know, I've got sanders, planers. Everything's battery powered. It's great. Keeps the cables away. Everything's so much more portable, easy. You know, you don't have to worry about where you set up, and that's just brilliant. So I'm really excited about where we could go kind of next with this, and how much more efficient they've got. You know, with brushless motors and things like that. So yeah, really cool. Thanks for watching.